Friends, I'm trying this from a different computer screen. So I'll just show you what I got hooked up. I got that in my bedroom right now. So I look really weird. There's my closet. But it looks really weird when I'm reading the story because I'm not looking at you. Oh well. So today's story is called Michaela dePrince, the war orphan who became a ballerina. And this is, I want to mention, a magazine article. Okay, so the background. From 1991 to 2002, Sierra Leone, which is a country in Africa, went through a violent civil war. During this decade, life in Sierra Leone was extremely dangerous due to the near complete lack of law in the country. Tens of thousands of people lost their lives, and countless families were torn apart. Children who lost their parents during the war became known as war orphans. So I'm guessing here this story is about her becoming one of those. Actually, I already know I read the story, but it's a really good story. All right. A professional stage debut is a huge event in the life of any ballerina, but Michaela dePrince's recent tour of South Africa also marked the end of an extraordinary journey from her childhood as a war orphan in Sierra Leone. I got out of a terrible place, says dePrince. So when they say says dePrince, that is her last name, and it's just another way of showing who's speaking. I had no idea I would be here, living my dream every single day. She was born in Sierra Leone in 1995. Her parents named her Mabini, I don't know if I'm saying that right, Mabinti. Let's go with Mabinti. I like that. It's pretty. But after they both died in the Civil War, she was sent to an orphanage where she became a number. And guys, this is where we were talking about the Declaration of Child Rights, where you have a right to a name. They named us from number 1 to 27, she recalls. 1 was the favorite child of the orphanage, and 27 was the least favorite. dePrince was number 27 because she suffers from, and I always say this wrong, vitiligo? I can't say it. A condition in which patches of the skin lose pigmentation. Oh, I'm going to go down right now to number 1 and see if it gives me any kind of pronunciation. Nope, it just is telling me pigmentation is the coloring of skin. Okay. Maybe it's vitiglio. To the aunties, and they put that in parentheses because it's really, they weren't really her aunts or her aunts who ran the orphanage. It was evidence of an evil spirit within the 3-year-old. She still recalls the fierce antagonism of the women. So antagonism is like just the meanness, how they were just constantly at her. So at 3 years old, she has a skin condition, and it makes these people think that she is possessed by the devil. They thought of me as the devil's child. They told me every day how I wasn't going to get adopted because nobody would want a devil's child, she says. Although the other girls in the orphanage were encouraged not to play with her, so they told the other girls there not to play with her, dePrince formed a close relationship or friendship with a child, number 26, also called, how are we going to say that? Mab? I forgot how we're going to say it. We're going to call her Mabs. I hate pronouncing somebody's name wrong, as my name is always pronounced wrong, so I'm just going to call her Mabs. Okay, so this other girl was also disliked by the aunties because she was left-handed. What? She was left-handed and that made them not like her? Oh my gosh. I gotta close this. The pair. That was my Alexa. The pair shared a sleeping mat, so they slept on a little mat together. And at night, when Michaela had dreams with her mat mate would soothe her with kind words and stories. So that's really very, very nice. Her memories of early childhood are fragmentary. So that means she only has little bits and pieces where she still remembers. Moments of piercing clarity, which have been reassembled in date order. She believes it was soon after witnessing the killing of her teacher that she stumbled upon something that was to shape the rest of her life, a discarded magazine. You guys, she saw her teacher get killed in front of her. Of course, she's going to have some trauma and some issues. But then she found this magazine that was in the trash. There was a lady on it, and she was on her tippy toes in this pink, beautiful tutu. I had never seen anything like this, a costume that stuck out with glitter on it, with just so much beauty. I could see the beauty in that person, and the hope and the love, and just everything that I didn't have. And I just thought, wow, this is what I want to be. dePrince, which is the girl, remember they were just referring to her as her last name, ripped the photograph out of the magazine and, for the lack of anywhere else to keep it, stuffed the treasured scrap in her underwear. It was so sad. She didn't have a backpack or anything to her. One day the orphanage was warned it would be bombed, and the children were marched to a distant refugee camp. Here, dePrince learned that her beloved mate was to be adopted. So the number 26, the one that was her friend, was going to be adopted. An American woman named Elaine dePrince had come to the camp to adopt child number 26, now called Mia. For a moment, Michaela was distraught. That means she was just she couldn't figure it out. She was so upset, because she believed that all the other children would be taken to new homes and she would be left behind. But abruptly, there was a change in plans. When the aunties told Elaine dePrince that Michaela was unlikely to find another home, she decided to adopt both girls. So number 26 and 27 are going to be adopted by Elaine dePrince. Michaela remembers struggling to understand what was happening. She was so intoxicated. Number 2, I'm going to go down here and look. Overwhelmed and excited. She was so overwhelmed and excited by the American woman with her dazzling blonde hair. But there was something else on her mind too. I was looking at people's feet because I thought everyone has to have ballet point shoes. They have to have the point shoes because these are the people from the U.S. So remember, the only picture she's ever saw of someone from the United States was the ballerina with her special ballerina shoes. So she was wondering why this American woman wasn't wearing them. And as you and I know, those are not shoes that we would wear. Well, I don't even think I've ever put some on. Not only was Elaine not wearing any point shoes, but as Michaela found when she looked through her suitcase that night, she had none in her luggage either. Her new mother quickly noticed Michaela's obsession with ballet. We found a Nutcracker, number 3, let's go down, a popular ballet with music by the famous Russian composer Peter Tchaikovsky. I don't know how to say it. Okay. So we found a Nutcracker video, and I watched it 150 times, Michaela says. When they finally went to see the stage performance, she was able to point out to her mother the places where the dancers had missed their steps. That's very impressive. That a little kid would know when a professional ballerina messed up. And this would be around the age of 5, I would guess, for her, because it says right here, Elaine enrolled 5-year-old Michaela in the Rock School of Dance in Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a city in Pennsylvania here in the United States, making the 45-minute drive from New Jersey every day. Wow, her mom would drive her 45 minutes one direction so she could be in the special class. But dePrince remained a shy girl, painfully self-conscious of her vitiligo. I'm going to find out how to pronounce that in my next part. I'm going to stop this video here. That was all I would think about when I was on stage. I had trouble looking at myself in the mirror, she says. I'm going to stop the video now, and the next video I will try to say that V word correctly, and we will continue on with the story.